What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ho to Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me tonight. What's going on, Jay?
Not much. What's going on tonight, fellas? Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. Looking forward to a great show tonight. But want to quickly remind you, you can catch us on Grind City TV. That's Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can download it on Google Play, and you can also download on your Roku TV. Also, you can follow us on TikTok at Ho to Husband Podcast, as well as give us a like on Facebook. All right, T.
I also have my other co-host on the line. I got my man SD in the building. What's good, bro?
Man, nothing much, man. Just chilling. I didn't have a good Memorial Day weekend because I worked all weekend.
Well, you been getting that money. Getting that
Get in the bag.
I'm tired though, man.
Time and a
it's
half.
all good. It was triple.
Oh,
So it is what it is.
That boy bleeding.
You know what I'm saying?
Delayed gratification, baby.
A little bit. I'm tired, but we're gonna get through it. But man, I want to give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background music tight. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Host to Husbands podcast on Cash App and PayPal.
I want to remind everybody, y'all can catch the audio playback of the show every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. Tonight we got a real interesting episode. Tonight's episode is titled Catching Bodies. We're going to be talking about promiscuous behavior in regards to men and women. But before we get into that, y'all know how we do it around here. We like to discuss things that we seen trending on our timelines. And I had a personal question for both of my co-hosts.
okay.
Are y'all participating in Hoochie Daddy season with the shorts phenomenon?
Nah.
I'm not. I can't do skinny jeans and nut huggers. So that's I can't.
You know, remember when rompers was trending a couple of years ago? Everybody was wearing those. I put that in the same category. I just can't see myself rocking that.
Oh yeah.
I'm 41 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? it's just some things that I won't do with this trendy stuff, man. And they too sassy for me. Plus, I'm skinny. Like my thighs not gonna fill those shorts up. They just not. Okay. So I'm gonna just leave that to the dudes that with the sassiness, man. I ain't with it.
Oh yeah. I've been seeing the post, man. Seeing the women. They seem like they like the sexual energy and trying to give guys the same energy that guys give them, but that's not something guys are gonna complain about. Right. A dude putting on some shorts or something to show his legs or his physique is done intentionally, and men are not gonna lie about the results.
Man, I'll stick to what's gray sweatpants in the fall.
Look, man, it's only one leg that matters, and them ain't the ones that matter. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, forget that. They can have it.
All right, man. Now, we got a couple of real interesting videos this week, man. This first video was a video of a guy getting rejected in the club. We know we got some super sensitive ass dudes out here, but let's take a look at what happened when a woman rejected his advances. And now that's just weak as hell, bro. Like, for a dude to throw a drink on a woman, like he's dancing for the camera, like he's doing something impressive, throw the drink on a woman, and then ends up getting in a fight with her. Like, man, that's some of the weakest shit ever, bro.
It is.
I don't see. I actually hold his homeboy accountable too, because his homeboy just sat there and didn't say or intervene or nothing.
Yep.
Like, I can't be with no dude and I see you blatantly disrespecting a woman, bro. Like, that's something that I hate motherfuckers like that. And so I'm gonna always react in that type of scenario. But I'm pretty sure we're all in accord with the same reaction.
Go ahead.
Oh man, this is lame as hell. This is some fuckboy, man. Listen, when you look at the dictionary in lame, his picture should be right there in it. That's how lame as hell. That's how lame this shit was. And just like you said, that's what I was thinking. I was like, the homeboy was just sitting there just watching. He didn't even pull it back or pull him to the side. Hey, bro, you tripping?
Yeah. Not even just him, but the fool that was recording, he knew what was about to happen because you could see it. It was a whole setup that homeboy set this up, had his boy record so he could try to be funny because this chick turned him down. Like y'all said before, man, that stuff is just lame. And as men, you would think that most men are used to getting rejected out here when they're dating. But this
have to be.
Right, but this is what social media has done to so many men because it takes away the personalness of approaching a woman and actually getting shot down. They don't have to do that now, so they just go straight to social media, send a DM. So they don't get to feel that and understand that everybody's not gonna like them as a man. And you understand that. So getting rejected is just a part of life. I got rejected plenty of times growing up, and still do sometimes. But it's just a part of the game. And if you don't understand that as a man, you're not a man in my eyes if you respond or act that way towards a woman because she don't like you.
Exactly. And here's the thing I want to touch on, something you just said, SD, about this new social media. It's like, I think they were clout chasing. He was clout chasing the dude that was recording. And it just goes to show that people will do anything for 15 seconds. Now, it's one thing when a woman does it, but when you see grown men who's probably in their 30s doing that, I mean, come on, how lame you got to be to do that?
Well, even if it's a teenager or a boy doing it, it's still behavior that somebody older should be able to check, or his peers should be able to check. Like even in high school, you have dudes that talk crazy to chicks, and then you have dudes that got to step in and intervene. But in the situations like this, like I see why women are so paranoid about going out in public, and you know, I hear the conversations my wife and her friends have about safety, about having to valet your car and parking and these type of things, and the danger in rejecting guys. You know, because my wife, she smiles all the time, so she's really perceived, like a lot of guys perceive that as her flirting with them. And so she has guys that offer to buy drinks and do all that all the time. And so if you come around one of these clowns, like, man, I can't even imagine. Can you imagine, like, if her boyfriend or her brother or somebody was on the other side of the club and saw that happen?
Oh, it's going up.
Yeah.
Oh. It's going up. I mean, it is. You just can't throw no drink on my chick. Like, you can't do nothing like that and just walk out. And as a man, you can't allow that to happen because your woman will not respect you at all later on. But I want to speak to this real quick, right? And I'm not saying that what he did was 100% wrong and 100% on him. The woman don't have to like him and don't have to take his number at all. But I just want to say to the ladies, when y'all out here dealing with these men and y'all get men to approach y'all, be mindful of how you reject a man. I don't know how it happened with this particular chick or this particular situation. It don't matter because of what he did. But I'm just saying a lot of people aren't wrapped too tight out here. A lot of men just aren't. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to fight a man or fight for your life, because we've seen dudes shooting before on social media at chicks that rejected them. So you want to be a certain type of way when you reject a man and how you do it, because everybody don't have all they screws out here, and you want to make it home with all your teeth and your life. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody in my comments when I posted this video, she said that she uses a second, like a Google number that she gives to guys, so that, because you know guys will do the type the number in and call right then. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll call to make sure your shit ring right then. So I was strong. That's a great idea. Getting an alternate number or some type of, you know, app that you can give out that they can actually call your phone.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking you got apps do like text now and apps such as those. Yeah,
easy to block, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I thought that was a brilliant hack for women to kind of surpass guys like this. Now let's keep things rolling, man. This next video, it was more on a positive note. It still got a lot of reaction, a lot of negativity, but it was a woman talking about how she views her husband as the king of the household and how things run in their relationship. Let's take a listen.
Husband coming to this house, he runs this shit, period. And I know that sounds, you know, old school and I get called a pick me and all that bullshit. Whatever. My husband runs me. Period, point blank. Period. He runs me. He has the last say so at the end of the day. He's the king of this house. He runs this household. Yes, he allows me to do what I need to do. I can move freely. I can, make my own decisions. If I see something, I want to do something, he's going to support it. But the minute that he's like, nah, that ain't going, it ain't going. Why? Because as a queen, I respect my husband's wisdom. I respect my husband's output and outlook on life. My husband comes.
Yeah, man. I don't really have any issues with what she said. She said it a little harsh, like I don't necessarily feel like that's running a woman. I think that's just the man being the head of the household, having a final say on major decisions. Because as a man, you delegate a lot of the duties on the household anyway. Yeah. Like a lot of the stuff that go on, men don't want to do or don't care about. I don't like grocery shopping. I don't like doing a lot of stuff. So those are all things that my wife handles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But when we have systems in place when it comes to major purchases, loaning money to family, stuff that has came up over and over again. And long as you are on the same page with your spouse on those type of issues and you have the mutual respect, it should be all good. Because a solid husband is always going to take his woman's thoughts and feelings into account.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one thing, that she said that kind of brought it around for me was the fact that she said, "Hey, I can make my own decisions. He allows me to do what I need to do. I can do what I want to do. But at the end of the day, if it's something that my husband don't, agree with or whatever, that's just what it's going to be." Well, that's what a leader does, ladies. Y'all all say that you want a man to lead. Every last one of them say that they want a man to lead. Well, guess what, sweetheart? You have to follow. And you have to understand that this man, like this woman here, has the best interest of the family at heart. So you trust his guidance, his structure, and his direction as a man. So when you trust a man like that, then that's okay. Then, okay, what he says is the final thing because that's what you got with him for, to lead you. And if he can't do those things and he's not showing those leadership qualities, then you shouldn't be there. Or if you don't have...
That's a sign of epic failure.
Yeah, or if you don't have the submissive attitude to be with a man like that, leave him alone.
But that's something that has to be earned, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just and that's part of the problem with the way women approach dating. They'll make a dude that they barely know their boyfriend, and then try something like this where you deferring to his judgment or whatever when you haven't had the time to actually see his judgment. You haven't had to see how his value system or his decision making. So these are things that if you effectively date and you observe a man over time, he should earn your trust to see that he's a sound decision maker and he's not selfish or he's not shysty, etc. Go ahead, Jay.
Yep. Clearly, her husband sounds like a man who's a competent leader, number one. So I have no problem with this. And when you see women in these comments, they say, "Oh, she's a pick-me." That's why she said it. But she said respect. So clearly, this is a man that she respects, number one.
Absolutely.
Terry, I want to ask this question to you. You've been married almost 2 decades, right? Now, your wife buys into your program. So you pretty much have the final say. Yes or hell no in most of the
veto power.
Right?
I have veto power if there's something that I have a strong feeling against. But most things, I don't really care. She'll present me with options and which color you like, what paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll ask me different stuff. A lot of it is nominal stuff to me that I don't really care either way. But if it's something that I have an issue with or I'm against, major purchases, purchasing cars, buying houses, etc. My decision on what our budget is and what we can afford and all that is always, the final say.
Right.
So,
I was just gonna ask too, if what would you do in a disagreement? Go ahead, SD.
I just want to say that it don't take 2 or 3 years to recognize that a man is not a proper leader either. It don't take 2 or 3 years if you're paying attention and vetting this man properly. Like, his lifestyle and how he leads his own life should be evident in the first couple months on how he leads his lifestyle. Right. If he buying weed and he buying Jordans and he's struggling on his bills, he's not really a good leader. He not leading his own life correctly. So therefore, you shouldn't even put your trust. You shouldn't even talk to a man like that if you want something serious. Absolutely. Because that's one of the main things. How is his own life structured? How does he prioritize his business? And how does he deal with people to tell you a lot of things about how he'll deal with you and lead you as a woman?
Very true. No doubt. Fellas, I want to ask you both this question, right? Women put such a negative connotation when it comes to submission. So when a woman at her job, right, she listens to everything her employer says, right? She falls in line with her employer. Is that not a form of submission?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. You have rules. You're submissive to somebody else that's an authority figure over you. I can understand why women have a negative connotation towards it, because historically, at least in America, women have been, they've had to earn the right. They're still fighting for equality in regards to dealing with the men, but women couldn't buy property. Women couldn't, file rape charges against their husband. Like they couldn't earn a living. Like there were a lot of restrictions that women were placed that were only released or able to be remedied if they got married. You know what I mean? Like, so I can understand how that could create a negative situation where like great grandma was with a dude that abused her because that she didn't really have very many options to take care of herself.
Yeah, and then like he said, that was back in the day, but now you got a lot of dudes that were never taught how to properly lead a woman, right? And so not being taught how to properly lead, care for, and treat a woman, a lot of men think that, hey, I'm the man, I got balls, so you got to do what I say. I'm basically a dictator, and that's not what a loving man, husband, boyfriend, whatever does to his woman. Like Terry has said earlier, hey man, a loving husband like that, or a man or whatever, he's going to take his woman into consideration with all things, right? And look at the whole before he makes a decision or on how he treats her. So I get why some women are like that, but most women nowadays haven't been in a relationship like that, where a dude has just been dictating to them all these things. A lot of social media pushes that. So they hate the word. Yeah, so they hate the word submissive, right? So like I had said before, if they hate the word, they'll hate the actions.
Right? True. It's anytime, but also we know that women have an adverse reaction to accountability. So and in a lot of instances, even a man question a woman about something she said or did, letting her know that something she did was a problem. Women will, he's trying to control me, or he's insecure. Like they'll find some kind of deflective tactic to try to paint it as something negative when really you're just addressing her negative behavior or something that she's doing that's creating conflict.
Yeah, here's a quick question about women as submission. Women who have jobs, let's say a woman has a job, a good paying job at that. Do you think she uses that as veto power to her man?
Some of them do.
Some of them, especially if they making more than they man.
True.
It's different when you're in a situation where both of you will be able to live a comfortable lifestyle separate. That's actually merging your lives together and building a bigger nest. But if you go separate, I'm still gonna live in a nice neighborhood, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like that's right. That I think that gives both people the freedom to where you don't have to just deal with anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not stuck. You're not there because you ain't got no choice. Especially if you're relatively attractive and would be highly desired on the dating market. I think that's a good position to be in because it helps keep both people humble.
Yeah, a lot of women attach submissiveness to the amount of money that a man makes over their money. If that dude don't make as much as they make or more, a lot of them say, I'm not being submissive to you. You know what I'm saying? That's why women like men, women typically marry up, right? As far as pay goes, and they want to. But to me, if your submission is tied to the man's money, you're not really a submissive woman.
You're not.
That's like a man.
And that's never gonna last. That's not. Go ahead.
Right, but that's not gonna last. That's like a man saying, my protection is tied to your beauty. So the minute you start to lose your shape and all this here, don't expect me to protect you. Like, it don't make no sense, right? That means he ain't really there from the get-go. He's not really that type of dude. True. So, you know, you have to think of things, you have to be balanced with how you think of things, man, and find you somebody that's balanced in their thinking. So,
no doubt.
The last thing a man wants is a woman that is going to challenge or question everything he says or does. So if you're with a man where everything he says or does, you assume it's malicious intent, or he's trying to cheat, or he's trying to do something negative, then those are all key signs that you're with the wrong guy. You're not actually compatible with him. Because when you're with somebody where your long-term vision is aligned, or where your family and relationship goals are aligned, or at least close to being aligned. Like, everybody ain't gotta be 100% perfect. He could want 2 kids, you could want 3 kids. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't gotta be we align on every single object, but he gotta at least want a family. He gotta be family oriented. You need to see those characteristics in them just naturally. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people just fail the dating phase because they're not paying attention to the stuff that really matters. Like, especially single women that have kids. Like, you need to be seeing how a dude play with his nieces and nephews, and how kids react to him, and all those type of things. Because you're ultimately interviewing for somebody to be a dad.
True.
Man, we went over a little bit on this topic. I didn't think we was gonna be chopping it up that long, but it's all good. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be getting into our topic of the night. So we'll be talking about catching bodies and promiscuous behavior in regards to men and women. So y'all are tuned into the Ho to Husband podcast, and we'll be back momentarily.
You have everything it takes to become an effective dater. I've simplified the entire process for you. All you need to do is make some adjustments to your approach to learn how you're supposed to date by downloading the Terry Duran Dating Compatibility Guide. It's available for only $1.50 exclusively at terryduranbooks.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. Tonight we are talking about catching bodies and promiscuous behavior. But before we get into our topic of the night, we wanted to respond to some of the questions that we got in our DMs. What we got this week, SD?
We got Mrs. Smith from Delaware. She says, I have a friends with benefits situation for 9 months with a guy. I know he dates others and I date others as well, and we're cool with it. The past weekend, he told me he was going to Florida with his guys, but come to find out, I saw him driving around the town with another chick. My question is, why would a man lie to a friends with benefits woman? I'm nothing to you, and we aren't in a committed relationship. I'm happy with the friends with benefits setup, so why would he lie?
The main reason that I can think of is because he's fearful that if he lets you know that he's getting serious with another woman, you're gonna cut off the pussy. That's the most logical reason. Like, if he told you, I made her my girlfriend, or I'm gonna be with my girlfriend on a vacation, that a lot of women don't really want to fuck men that are in a committed relationship. Even if when they was friends with benefits, a lot of women take that as a slight.
Yeah, a lot of dudes, a lot of men will lie because even when they really don't have to, because they're still afraid of losing the sex that he's getting from other chicks. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably his reason for doing the lying. Or he had this chick coming out for the weekend and he, don't want to get with you for the weekend. He want to spend his time with this other chick, and he don't want to say that. Like, yo, I'm spending my time with this other chick for the weekend, and he only giving you a day or two during the week. Like, that might make a chick feel some type of way. You know what I mean? Like, man, I've been smashing this dude for 9 months and I can't get a weekend, but he giving it to another chick. So it could potentially cut him off. And he's just thinking long term, like, man, let me go try and lie. But we don't condone lying around here.
Right. And I can see where she's come from. Like, okay, you don't have to lie. But women say that all the time. Hey, you can tell me the truth. And then when you tell them, they get mad at you anyway and hold it against you. So he probably just doesn't want to be in a situation where she's holding that against him. And then even when women say, hey, I don't care, you can go date other people. And then 9 times out of 10, when they do see you with somebody else, they get upset anyway. I mean, how many times does that happen, fellas?
Yeah, and I also saw that she, women will do this a lot. They'll make their assumptions part of the question. Like she said, I'm nothing to you. How do you know that? Like, just because a guy's not in a committed relationship with a woman doesn't mean he doesn't care about her or he doesn't really like her. So those assumptions that you use to kind of formulate your opinion, a lot of times they're inaccurate or they're partially correct. Because if you've been smashing the dude for 9 months, most times there's some type of, he cares about your well-being. He might not be in love. He might not be I want you to be his girlfriend, but caring about your well-being and liking your companionship is something that I would think is part of it.
No doubt.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a difference between knowing that they got somebody else and assuming that they dealing with somebody else, because that's really what y'all do. Y'all just having sex, right? So a lot of times those things ain't really discussed like that in detail. So a lot of people just assume, okay, this is what we do. It is what it is. I'm not thinking about anything serious. So I know he's dealing with other people, and then seeing it and knowing is completely different.
Dang.
So that's why he probably not telling you, because you know, he like, yo, am I still gonna get the same sloppy top if I tell him?
Because the questions change, the conversation change. Like it is usually not a blatant thing. It's next time you come over and be like, when the last time you cleaned these sheets? Like it'd be shit like little subtle stuff that you never brought up before or that you never discussed before. And so that's the only reason that I could think of for a guy to be lying to a friends with benefit situation is the fear that it's gonna get cut off, which is something that he obviously doesn't want. And not only that, because the other chicks that he's dealing with might not just be as cool with him sleeping with multiple women as you are. You know what I mean? Like, so it might not necessarily even have been about you. He might have wanted you to not hit him up all weekend. Because, like he said, he's with old girl, and she's staying a night or whatever the case may be. So those are always some of the risks that come with friends with benefits in these casual dating situations. So
it happens.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
But let's get into tonight's topic, man. Tonight we're talking about catching bodies. This is something that come up all the time. We talk about body counts on a regular basis. And so I want to just have an in-depth discussion about all the various angles on it. Because one of the biggest things that come up when you're talking about body counts, it highlights the different ways that men and women view and treat sex. I think we can all agree that men in general are very loose when it comes to passing out penis. We're not generally making women jump through hoops. We're not making them buy us stuff or have a certain amount of money. Most guys are having sex to give and receive pleasure. And so when you compare that to what women are doing, which is generally trying to leverage sex into something else, you see why you get, this oil and water type of scenario.
Yep.
So when you think about what would you say is the biggest difference between a promiscuous man and a promiscuous woman?
Me personally, I would say men have to work to get sex, and women really don't have to work to get sex like that. Like women can go to the bar, and if she tell 10 dudes she want to give them sloppy top, she's gonna have 10 dicks in her face to give sloppy top. Like 9 times out of 10, that's just what it is. But if a dude go to the bar and say, "Baby, let me eat your box real quick," talk to 10 girls, just say, "Hey, let me eat your box." You might get 1 or 2 if you lucky.
If you
lucky.
I was gonna say you be lucky to get 1.
What you mean?
You do this to everybody.
Where dudes gonna be like, dudes gonna be like, so you want to go in the bathroom or the car? Where you gonna go? You know what I'm saying? Because men, most men are, like you said, loose with the sex like that, to where we don't care, and that's obvious out here in the world of dating, right? Somebody that's considered a hoe, whether it's the one chick, Brittany somebody, or the one we were talking about last week, a superhead. The women collectively, most of them will say she nasty, she a hoe, or whatever. But dudes to another guy, it's gonna be like, man, bro, you smashed 15 chicks.
Exactly.
How you do it? You know what I'm saying? Because we treat it different. So that's what
very true. What about you, Jay?
I had a similar points like SD said. For women that sleep with a bunch of guys that's promiscuous, it's seen negative by both men and women, right? But when a guy sleeps with multiple women, it seems probably, you know, he's getting high fives from his friends. His fellas tipping the hat to him. And 9 times out of 10, it make a lot of women want the guy even more. Because she's thinking, if this chick is sleeping with him, such shit, I might as well give him some too. You know, just like if a guy's not sleeping with no women, and you tell her, damn, I was getting with this chick and she don't want to sleep with me, she gonna be like, well, damn, if she ain't gonna give me this, why should I give him any pussy?
Yeah, I mean, and that whole scenario is men and women react to it differently. Like a woman that you heard give some great head or got some good pussy, that'll encourage other guys to try to fuck her. But that's not gonna make them be like, man, that's who I should make my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it doesn't translate to them wanting to be with her. But even in situations like you just described, where a woman heard you could eat pussy or heard something about you that made her want to fuck with you, most women, when they start getting involved with a guy that they like and they're having sex with, most of them lean towards a committed relationship, and so they totally respond differently to a guy that's a hoe than guys respond to a woman that's a hoe or easy to fuck.
Yeah, man, I had took a survey a couple months back where I asked the women, if you're having consistent good sex with a man, will you catch feelings? And like 79-80% of them said, yes, I will catch feelings. Because
I remember
a lot of women attach feelings to sex, especially good sex, emotions and things like that. So a lot of women really can't do it like that, where they could just be loose and have sex. That's why they don't. Most of them. Some can, but most can't do it that way and not catch feelings. Whereas guys, we don't really have no feelings towards no chick like that we just trying to smash. It's just a nut for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So and as a guy, if you known for certain things, I fed plenty of chicks to the mattress based off of what their girl said about me. Their girl told somebody.
You getting
it? And next thing I know, you know, things was going on, you know, because the girl heard about it. So it happens. They want guys like that. That's why Future got 10 baby mama.
Word of mouth marketing is always the strongest form of marketing.
Absolutely.
And it's you know, it create a lot of trust issues for people, but that's why it's easy for guys to run through a clique of friends and things of that nature, because they share stories, and birds of a feather flock together. They usually like the same type of guys. And so it makes it easier for situations like that to pop off.
Question for you fellas, right? Us as men, when we're dealing with chicks, we like think, you know, a chick is doing stuff with us because we're special, or was, you know, our mouthpiece that got the chick to do that, right? When a chick does something with you, do you just assume that she's doing that? She done did it with somebody else?
Yeah, but I don't ruin sexual experiences with dumbass thoughts like that. Like if we in a situation, I'm gonna make sure I got a condom and I'm being safe, but I'm not thinking, I wonder how many other dicks she sucked. I wonder, like, I don't overthink the room in a situation, so I wouldn't even be on that type of vibe. What about you?
Oh man, me neither. I've never really thought about it. Like, you know, it don't matter to me at that particular point. Like, whatever. I mean, I know, like, we adults. You know what I'm saying? I'm 41 years old. I know that most women that I meet that's up in their 30s, they ain't no virgins. They done did it to somebody. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's your character that's gonna speak for you. So I ain't thinking about what you did with other men, you know, because you here now. I'm zaddy now. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so I don't care what you did.
And you can tell, like, if you're actually getting to know a woman, you can see her decision making. You can see if she's a thought that just handle herself any type of way. You'll be able to see who the company she keeps. You'll be able to see the type of lifestyle she lives, the type of media she consumes. Like, if you're actually paying attention to a person, you should be able to see how they really moving. And that's why the men that are actually husband material, they got their shit together. Even if they're single, they still lit on the dating scene, because their lifestyle's not gonna change. They still gonna be out buying drinks and appetizers and food and looking fly and having on cologne and doing all the type of stuff that are going to attract women.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but like you were saying earlier, being successful with women, or even just becoming a hoe from a male perspective, requires a certain skill. Even fuck boys have skills. Like, they might be call center skills, you know what I'm saying? Like, they might be low level skills, but they have a skill set that allows them to continually be successful with women.
Yeah. But I want to say, like, I don't think about that stuff when I'm dealing with a woman. I don't think about it. It's not important to me at the time. I don't care. But I do not want a chick that's got 100 bodies under her belt either. I'm not gonna ask you what your body count is. That's, you know what I'm saying, because you can't verify it. So I'm not gonna ask. But I don't want it. Like, I've had a few porn stars that tried to come at me a couple of times. Yeah. We're talking about that offline. We're talking about that offline.
Okay.
And
you definitely got to hear this story.
Yeah, man. And it threw me off. You know what I'm saying? Like
they hold on. They was really trying to date you, or they just wanted to fuck?
They was just trying to smack. The one chick was just trying to give some sloppy top. Now, y'all might think this is crazy, but I didn't want to do it because of the marketing. It was like a marketing strategy of giving all these dudes head for OnlyFans. And I'm like, sweetheart. Yeah, she like, yo, you fine though. I think you fine. I'm like, you know what? If I was in my 20s, you know what I'm saying? It would have been different. But as a grown man, I just couldn't move like that. It just didn't sit well with me. So I was like, nah, I'm straight with that one. But I've had a few try, but and knowing that all them bodies is under your belt now as a grown man, I don't want that. I don't want that in my area.
To me, it's not necessarily the bodies. It's the mentality of a woman that would have an OnlyFans and be fucking on camera. Like, that's the part that I can't really rock with. Like, I mean, I say rock with as far as dating seriously. I've had fuck buddies that were strippers and stuff like that. Great time. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it is what it is. Like, they never talked to me about no boyfriend shit. Like, it was just always, we on the same page. This is the ceiling on our relationship. And so, like, living a whole lifestyle, from a guy perspective, I think the guys that have the success, it's like training for the Olympics. Like, you're constantly fucking new chicks and dealing with guys that do the same thing, that you become like a world-class athlete. And I think that's what makes it so hard for a lot of those guys to settle down, because it's addictive.
Yeah, that's why, you know, I started, you know, my thing as far as the whole phase expert, or what he really means. Like, I did this for 18 years. I would be considered a top-notch doctor or whatever it was in my field if that was a profession, right? Right now, I'm a top electrician, been doing it 22 years, right? But being a hoe, I was, you know, in the game for a long time. So a lot of these different things, you learn how to perfect the craft of being in the game like that, and being a whole phase man.
Putting yourself in position, baby.
Esty, I want to touch on something you said. You said you don't want a chick with 100 bodies. So what are things you look at to decipher whether, you know, she for the streets or not?
I really, nowadays, I look at their social media. That's what I go to. I like to say our social media pages are our resumes for relationships nowadays, because it tells you for somebody that uses it. If you don't use social media, that's not for you. But if you use social media a lot for a lot of personal things, it'll tell you a lot about a person's character, be it a man or be it a woman. So if I look at her page and she's got an OnlyFans link, now OnlyFans don't automatically disqualify you. Because some chicks just got OnlyFans where they showing their feet and they making $50,000 off of it, right? I can deal with that as a man if that's what she's doing. What I can't deal with if you got a 15-inch double destroyer in your booty hole. I can't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? OnlyFans. I don't want to deal with that type of energy. Or you got your areolas out, or you got your camel toe out on your page. You disqualify right away. So those are things I look for. Initially,
Ashley, you know what resonates? There's something you said on. I think it was on a live one time. You said if you would not post that, if you're in a relationship, then you shouldn't post it when you're single. Yeah, that automatically resonates when you just said what you said.
People judge it. You getting judged whether it's fair, because even any time we make assumptions based on what we see, and then as we get to know somebody, those things are either confirmed or denied to be true.
Right.
And so if a woman is overly sexual or has OnlyFans or something, then that's the energy that she's gonna get from guys. Like I don't really see how guys can even approach girls like that. Like, I want you to be my woman. Like I'm falling in love with you type of vibe. Probably because I'm a former hoe. Being living a lifestyle to where you sleeping with multiple women, or you setting up managing dick appointments and all that, man, it's a lot easier than being in a relationship, but it cuts you off from having the things that I ultimately wanted, which was a long-term marriage and a family. So I definitely see both sides of the fence, because
no doubt
most people feel like the grass is greener on the other side and end up making decisions that cost them, in the long run.
Yeah, nowadays you have to be careful what you post on social media for a job.
True.
Right? For a job, you got to be careful what you post on social media. So wanting to be somebody's girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, fiance, whatever the case, that's a job. Yep. Your social media page is you applying for that job a lot of times. So you have quality men who actually want relationships and marriage are looking at what you post while you're single. I got asked last night, does a woman who parties all the time, always on the club scene, seen as a turnoff to quality men? Absolutely. You are looked at as a turnoff. It is what it is. So if you on your page every weekend and you
could be fine as hell.
Yeah, you walking into the club and you hug the bouncers? Oh, man, no, you in the club too much, and I don't want to be bothered with you.
Actually, I want to touch on that about the club photos real quick. That's definitely a turn off, especially every Friday and Saturday night. You're posting the club restrooms. Yeah, that's an automatic. So that says to me that says she for the streets, and she just posted stuff, club restrooms all the time, every other picture.
Well, I don't necessarily say for the streets, but I don't think that's a lifestyle that's conducive for a long-term relationship with most guys. Because if that's what you're constantly doing, like one thing that would annoy me that I see, like, I can't deal with I gotta celebrate my birthday for 3 weeks chick. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like those type of things show you what a woman's priorities are. You know what I mean? Like, and so when you're talking about judging social media, like there are a lot of women that I follow on social media that remind me of my wife. Their lifestyles are very similar to my wife. Mm-hmm. And so I know they're the type of the chicks that don't have no problem with dating. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they not naked, but they still fine. They still getting likes. They still cute. Mm-hmm. Like those are the type of things that matter. The same way a guy can be handsome or look fly without doing the what's it, hoochie daddy or dick print. You know what I'm saying? Taking it to the extreme. I wanted to talk about something that I see get discussed a lot by women. This phenomenon of community dick. So they talk negatively about men that are promiscuous, and they make it sound, oh, he's just a community dick. Oh, he just sleep with everybody. But the reality, or from what I've observed, is men that get a lot of pussy are more picky. They could be more selective with who they fuck because they're not pressed for sex. So their standards are actually a lot higher than the phrase community dick would imply. So I wanted to ask y'all, do you think a term like gated community dick would be more appropriate for guys in that situation?
And what you mean by gated? What do you
Well,
mean?
gated communities are usually upper tier. So a guy that's a hoe is usually gonna be smashing the upper tier women in the community. And they're not easily accessible unless they want the access. So that's the similarities that I see with the gated community.
Well, hey man, look, I just think the women are confused, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because if you look at the single moms, it's like in our community, it's like 70% something like that, right?
Almost 80.
Yeah, almost 80%. But only 40% of the men got kids. So what that tells you? They like community dick. The guys that these guys got multiple kids. And I'm not gonna lie, I have two myself. So I was a community hoe for a long time. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? My kid grown and the other one is a little older now. But I'm just saying, like, women like dudes that have multiple kids because those guys are typically the men that have the swag, the persona, the means and different things to entertain multiple women. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it sounds good on social media, but like I said before, Sierra's baby mama number 6. Right? They all praising Russell Wilson. I get it. But she was baby mama number 6 to Future, a known community hoe. So it sounds good, but the actions ain't matching up with what they talking about a lot of times.
True.
Yeah. I think gated community dick is very fitting because, like you said, the guy that's really getting whatever woman he wants, he's going to be selective on who he lets into his bed. Hell, he's going to be selective on who he gets seen in public with and all that stuff. So I think
very true.
He's not everybody doesn't have access to him. So I think that's a perfect term for that.
Yeah, it might not be for the community though. Like now, right? A woman has to qualify to see both my balls. She gotta qualify for that. She just can't pull up. She pretty, got nice titties, whatever the case, nice feet. That's my thing. And get to go to Pound Town. It don't work like that now. Now you have to qualify. So it's gated, but it's not.
So what are some of the qualifications?
Yeah.
I like a woman that's feminine. Number one, a lot of women nowadays don't want to be feminine. I like a woman that can hold herself accountable, that actually knows her role and wants to play that role with a man. A woman that has a submissive, passive, friendly, and pleasant attitude when I meet her, when I date her, when we go out. I love that in a woman, and one that just takes care of herself and keeps up with herself and act like she needs a man. Not one of these chicks that say, I don't need no man.
Right.
I just want one. Like, no.
Yeah. Hold on. Esty, hold on. Since, you know, you got standards of who you would let sleep with. You can't just be anybody, right?
Yeah.
You used to have more women throwing themselves at you, or was it like just the same when you were a whole-faced man?
Well, it's different. It's different now because a lot more women come to me. I don't really go like that. Like in person, I will. If I see a woman that I like, I will go and approach her and try to get to know her right then. But on social media, I don't really do it like that. I'm not a big time DMer like that. So a lot of them will DM me sometimes now. But back then, in my whole years, I was doing a lot of chasing, so it was different. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no social media like that.
You got to be in the streets.
Yeah, I was in the streets every day at the mall trying to meet somebody, so it was different. It wasn't no social media like that. We had MySpace, and it wasn't like that. So it was a little different. Now the women tend to be a little more approachy with just the DMs.
Yeah, now the reason I ask because a lot of men don't have this one to really just turn down sex like that because men don't really get sex in abundance like women do. So I was wondering out of curiosity.
I wanted to, before we get up out of here, I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on women that are promiscuous that have slept with somebody in your circle. How do you handle situations like that? I'll start with you, SD. Is that an issue for you?
That's gonna be an issue for me, man. Hey, man, listen, man. If my homeboy done put his thumb in her butt, I can't do it. I can't hang with it, man.
Not even you couldn't casually date the chick in town.
Nah, man. You know, like I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? That feeling, that energy. You know what I'm saying? When we at a club and we chilling, and my boy sit back there like, man, I miss that mouth. And I'm over there, and I'm like, why are you looking at her mouth like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I don't want to be bothered with that. So I don't dabble with exes of my guys or anybody like that. Like, no, I'm good on that, man. So,
What about you, Jay?
You know what? So I wouldn't date her. Maybe I would probably sleep with her, take it account because I've had situations like that before where I slept with somebody that one of my homeboys slept with, and vice versa. They slept with somebody, I might have slept with, but we at the end of the day, we're not taking her serious. We're not wifing her or anything. So that's how I see that.
Yeah, me and my buddies, all the overlaps is just kind of story and fun memories, stuff that actually. That's kind of the things that help me keep track of the body count. Like, oh yeah, remember her? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I can't imagine somebody seriously dating the chick that I used to smash. To me, that would be weird.
Right.
Like it's kind of funny when I see chicks that I used to smash or run through, and then they married, and I see pictures with their husband and shit.
See, that's what I'm talking about, right?
You know what?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I think of that Pusha T verse. I think it was a Popular Demand where he said, "Like that Bron had that long time ago." That's the verse that resonates with me when you say that.
No, man, I can't do it, man. I'm sitting there holding hands with her and cuddle up, and you used to stamp her on her face like pop, 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 pop. I'm sitting there holding hands with her, and I know that. No, man. So it's been situations like that with guys, though, with like some of my guys, where they done met chicks that we each other done dealt with at a certain time or whatever, and it's like, oh man, I ain't know that. And me personally, I just don't like it. I'd be like, nah, I'm straight. So, and walk away from it. That's just me.
That's what's up, man. There's been a lit conversation, man. Time been flying on this one. Look like we up against the clock. So before we get up out of here, man, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background music. I want to remind y'all to continue donating to the podcast, to our Cash App and our PayPal. SD, J, man, y'all boys, y'all had me rolling today. I appreciate y'all linking up with me to get this one knocked out.
Yes, sir.
Hey, y'all, this has been another episode of the Hoetohusband Podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.